Welcome back to Coffee with Yvonne, a show for creatives and entrepreneurs. I'm Yvonne Pearson, your host and the founder of Pink Dollhouse Marketing. And remember what we were talking about during the season opener, that I'll be doing things a little bit differently this season? Well, like I mentioned, we're going to be splitting our episodes into two different segments. One that'll be all about interviews with people who are changing the game in their industry, and two, which will be a marketing magic episode in which I talk all about campaigns that you may have heard of or weren't even aware about, and talk about the marketing tactics behind them. If you follow me on social media under Pink Dollhouse Marketing, you know this is not new. So in here, we're going to dive a little bit deeper into that, and even pulling resources and articles to help you make sense of the marketing strategies behind them. My goal here is to not make marketing intimidating, but to make it easy for you to understand. Okay? Sound good? All right. Grab your coffee and let's chat. The main story we're going to talk about is Wicked. Now, I know we're sick and tired of talking about Wicked, but we have to talk about the marketing tactics behind it. And while I won't be going too deep into details because I did a whole TikTok about it on my social media, on here, we're going to talk about Wicked and how they're starting to experience backlash about the over-marketing for the movie. And to make sure that we follow along, I got notes, but don't worry about it. I'll be dropping that tea also in the details for this episode. Okay, let me clear my throat. First up, Wicked did a great job with the multi-channel marketing tactics. You could not go anywhere without seeing something speaking to Wicked. Even today, subconsciously, I'm wearing the colors for the Wicked movie with the sweater I bought from Target over a year ago. But I'm even wearing the colors of the pink and green, which identify the Good Witch and the Wicked Witch of the West. By the way, Justice for Elphaba. They did my girl so wrong, but that's not why we're here. All right, so the first thing up, when we talk about the over marketing, yes, strategically, you need to make sure that you're pulling every lever possible when talking about a campaign. That is the goal. But sometimes people can think the more times you see something, you're talking to your audience too much. But I talked about this in my video. As a marketer, I recognize that you had to pull every single lever possible to get people to take an action once of what you want them to do. And by doing so, the Wicked team actually followed the same formula or a similar formula from the Barbie movie. Remember last summer when you saw pink everywhere and every single thing was talking about Barbie? That's essentially what the Wicked team did with the strategic direction of this year. So in 2023, they actually launched a teaser trailer in theaters. That was step one for the marketing rollout. When we're seeing things like these collaborations, like they did with Barbie, I think Legos, Bees, hotel collaborations with Hilton, down to food, Wicked was everywhere on purpose because they wanted to make sure that once you saw it, you either got sick of it and bought a ticket because you were curious, or because you were such a big fan, you bought into the fandom and purchased products around the movie. I pulled up an article, and according to the Huffington Post, Salia Malik, co-founder of S Squared, a boutique marketing agency, she even mentioned about the criticism behind the movie. And this article was talking about in the Huffington Post about the marketing doing too much and also talking to certain audiences, and it wasn't being broad enough and talking more to an elitist audience. Salia kind of pushed back on that a little bit. She owns a boutique marketing agency, and she said Hollywood is always going to do the thing that fills up the pockets, no matter how much it might annoy some audiences. But the bottom line is, this approach consistently drives ticket sales, and she is correct. So, leaving the article, I pulled up another source. I wanted to see, okay, did these marketing strategies actually work? Did it turn into ticket sales? And for our first weekend opening, Wicked already broke records with $165 million of ticket sales sold globally. So understanding that the criticism is there, obviously it is working. Going back to the article, she states, once customers' fatigue has started setting in, more and more they're going to have to pivot their strategies. As marketers, you are always aware that the same strategy is not going to work every time. So you'll pick and choose different aspects of it, but tailor it for the next one. And that she is correct as well. Knowing that this is part one of the movie, I know part two, they're already starting to think, okay, what is working? What is not working? What channels have we exhausted? What are new ways we can talk to our audience? And Wicked is going to have that challenge because unlike Barbie, Wicked has a two-part movie. And understand that people are already exhausted with seeing it everywhere. My concern is they pushed it so hard using the Barbie formula that the next campaign might fall a little bit flat because people are exhausted with the storytelling done already. They may have to pivot and do a different direction of leveraging maybe new characters for the promotional strategy, maybe secondary characters to help tell the story for part two, instead of leaning on the Glinda the Good Witch, played by Ariana Grande, and the Wicked Witch Elphaba, played by Cynthia Erivo. So we'll wait to see what they do with that. I am curious, but considering that it did translate to the money that they wanted to make, I know they're patting themselves on the back somewhere or sipping some kind of tequila with lime because they did that. Period. Next up, Telfar, the Bushwick Birkin, opens their first flagship location in New York City. So this source is from Essence. And to take a step back, to let you know, I pull my marketing sources from different places. I just don't go to one area to find my news. I also pull in Black and people of color run news sources to make sure I have a diverse thought view and perspective. So Telfar Clemens, who is the creator of the Bushwick Birkin, is a viral bag, for those who don't know, that became very popular amongst Black and people of color because it was affordable, very stylish, and it was also made of a vegan material. After so many years in the game, I think a little over 2 decades in the game, but after so many years in the game, excuse me, they opened their flagship location, which is a 10K square foot location in Canal. And anybody who's familiar with New York, you know Canal. You know Canal. You know Canal. That's where a lot of us bought our first Louis Vuitton. That fell apart as soon as I got on the bus. Anyway, according to the article, I'll pull a few things from there, but according to the article, it is an immersive experience in store for the customer. So essentially, Telfar is taking this experience online and translating to in store. Sometimes for designers, that is very hard to do because now you're trying to take your digital customer and make them an in-store shopper. The reason why that's sometimes difficult to do is, why is somebody going to go from being on their phone or their desktop to physically get in the car or on the metro to go to the store to shop? So you have to make it worth your customer's time. Telfar, understanding that, created a bag bar. According to the article, bag bar is a concept which transforms the communal digital experience of the bag security program. Let's take it back a step. For our girlies who were there during the pandemic and we were fighting for our lives online trying to get these items, the security program itself is born from a pandemic era necessity and mutual care into an architectural statement. Whether traditional luxury retail constructs artificial scarcity through velvet ropes and wait lists, looking at you, Chanel, Telfar Space reconfigures the wait as a site of experimental opportunity with interactive screens that capture and stream in-store moments, things that turn everyday shoppers into a part of an ongoing broadcast narrative. So essentially, they're taking their bag security program, which allows for people to purchase the bag like a pre-sale, essentially, right? And then once their purchase is secure, that's when their bag is made. From a customer perspective, it lets you know that you're going to get the item that you paid for. From a business perspective, it also helps to reduce the amount of inventory that you're going to have in stock because the bag security program has a very clear statement knowing that once you hit purchase, this is your item. And the chances for things like returns and exchanges are very slim unless it's an extenuating circumstance that deals with the quality. So by transforming that into this in-store bag bar, they're taking that digital experience and making it an in-person one in which people are able to go in the store and have that same vibe. And then I love the fact that they're taking the fact that everyone wants to be famous on social media by creating a ongoing streaming experience in which customers can be featured on their channels or through this broadcast network that they're building. One thing about Telfar, and I have to give him credit, he listens to his customers. He listens to the fact that you understand that your customers are your bread and butter, and that your customers are either going to make or break your brand. And by seeing that, by building his brand strategically, he did not rush to open up a store immediately. He managed to grow from a digital platform and then take what was considered his cash cow product. So cash cow is essentially your most popular product that no matter what you do is always going to bring in money, right? So the cash cow was his Bushwick Birkin. And by seeing the demand of his customers, took that Bushwick Birkin and created additional sizes, additional colors, and then from there, based on the response, expanded the product offering into apparel and different shapes of bags, including the very popular circle bag that's still a cult favorite amongst the fashion girlies today. Then, taking a step further, introduced the leather bag of the Bushwick Birkin that has also become popular. So, the evolution of owning a flagship store on Canal Street, not only speaks to his customer because he did not put it in Soho. He did not put it on the Upper West Side. He put it on Canal Street, somewhere that people who, no matter what your economic status is, tend to shop and they tend to go. So this was a very smart move for Telfar, and I cannot wait to see what else he does to expand his brand. But I'm pretty confident that the plan is already formulating to expand it to other stores, either nationwide or globally. Up next, and I know you are sick of hearing this word, but guess what word ended up being word of the year according to dictionary.com? It's very cutesy. It's very mindful. It's very demure. Yes, I know. The word demure is now officially dictionary.com word of the year. And while you may hate it, let's get into the numbers, shall we? This came from Time Magazine. They reported this out. So, officially, 2024 word of the year is the viral sensation demure, which took off on TikTok in August of this year. It was popularized by TikToker Jules LeBron, whose phrase, very demure, very mindful, was featured in a series of viral videos and replicated by other creators. Here's the numbers, and this is why I think it became word of the year. Between January and September of this year, Dictionary.com says demure saw a 1,200% increase in usage in digital web media and had 200 times more searches on dictionary.com. For those of you who may not be aware, as a marketer, this is very important. When you're thinking about things like SEO, search engine optimization, when you're thinking about how well is my campaign doing, when you see things like the searches for your campaign going up or increases in inquiries on your website based on certain keywords or phrases that are associated with your campaign, that lets you know if your work is working or not when you see ticks and increases on your web analytics page, right? So keeping that in mind, the fact that they were able to track the usage of the word increase on social media and searches for the word means that people were starting to include this word in their everyday vocabulary. So essentially, as we know, language is always evolving. So with dictionary.com recognizing demure as being a 2024 word of the year lets us know that this is not just a trend. This word is going to be around for a very, very long time. And for those of you who are sick of hearing it, it's probably going to live in the same space that we would say, like, the word cool in the 90s was considered the trendy word of the time and still is around today. Last but not least, up on our docket to talk about, Fear of God scores win with WNBA and the NBA. This story comes from Sports Illustrated. A Black-owned business, the House of Fear of God has announced a multi-year deal with the National Basketball Association, the NBA, and the Women's Basketball Association, the WNBA. The partnership signals a pivotal moment for the brand as it continues to bridge the world of sports and fashion. The team includes the Boston Celtics, Chicago Bulls, Los Angeles Lakers, Miami Heat, New York Knicks, Chicago Sky, Los Angeles Sparks, and the New York Liberty, who didn't they just win a championship? That's the one with Ellie, right? Ellie the elephant. I love her. Allie be killing it though. She be eating the girls down with her outfits. I swear, I love me some Ellie. In fact, that is the only reason why I know that the New York Liberty even exists, because I follow Ellie the elephant. Period. Anyway, going back to the article on Sports Illustrated, the collection will launch on fearofgod.com on November 20th, so it just launched not too long ago, and NBAstore.com, and Fanatics on November 27th, so later this week. In the following weeks, the collection will be available to essentials retailers, select arena stores, and NBA stores. Now, for those who are unaware, for Black or minority-owned businesses, getting this kind of partnership is huge, because you're essentially taking your brand and you're making it a household name in terms of, in this area, sports, right? And for Fear of God, that was already popular amongst like celebrities and, higher influencers, knowing that they're able to take their brand and bring it to a broader stage is a big deal and adds an additional stream of revenue. It also speaks to, on another note, the value that the WNBA is starting to present even more with its external audiences. Because let's not forget, no one was checking as hard for the WNBA before we had, let's be honest, rising stars like Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. Now, of course, I am a late 80s, raised 90s baby, so I knew about Lisa Leslie and them. But in recent years, there seems to be a trickling down of not focusing so much on women's sports, specifically WNBA. So the resurgence of this through Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese has allowed for new eyes to be on these areas, and also provide new opportunities for bigger partnerships and smaller or evolving brands to get into the space early to get their piece of the bag. So I love this for Fear of God. I actually cannot wait to see what these collections look like and how they'll evolve. Maybe they'll dress the Ellie the mascot in some of these looks, because the girls be serving. But that is everything that we have in terms of marketing. So I hope everything I share with you makes sense. I know marketing, again, could be really intimidating, but again, it is my job to break it down for you best as possible in which it makes sense. If there are any stories or anything that you want me to cover, go ahead and share with me on the socials. You can find me at pinkdollhousemarketing.com, or on social media, you can find me at my business page at Pink Dollhouse Marketing. You can slide into my DMs. That's cool. If you want to find me on my personal page, it is okay. You can find me on my personal account. Now it's long. Don't judge me. I just changed my name. At Yvonne_creative_marketer_. Again, I know it's long, but you can find me there under my personal page, or on TikTok, aka the Clock app, at Pinky Creates. I can't wait to chat with you soon. Our next episode coming up will be an interview, so get prepared for longer form content there, but I promise you it's going to be a really great discussion. All right. Have a great day. Oh, and happy Turkey Day. Now, they don't know how to make the mac and cheese. You don't have to eat it. Okay? Okay, bye. Coffee with Yvonne is produced and edited by Yvonne Pearson. Coffee with Yvonne is created by Pink Dollhouse Marketing. You can catch the latest episodes by subscribing to Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts.